Hello, all you amazing people. Remember, you're always amazing because you clicked on this video out of all the videos you could have clicked on. And if you want to be more amazing and help us get to 1,700 subscribers by the end of February, we are only in January, and we're already at 1,620 plus. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for the support. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing a how valuable the character tier list is. Now, I just want to state something, guys. I don't know how bad my situation is currently, but I might have to start a GoFundMe. I just want to preface that I'm not doing that with a light conscience. I don't want to have to do that. That is literally my last resort, and it would be a very bad situation for me to have to do that. I will not be trying to do that. I might have to start a GoFundMe in order to keep doing YouTube. So I just want to preface this saying I'm not doing that with a clear conscience, or I'm not doing that, like as my first resort. I've been dealing with this, in the back end where I don't have to, make this sort of a public situation. But if it does come to that, know that it's my last resort, and I didn't want to have to do it. But I might have to release a video, explaining my situation. But yeah, this tier list, this video is only getting uploaded if this is seriously a bad situation. So yeah, if you're seeing this video, it was a really bad situation. So Albedo, we're doing this based off value, if I haven't said that already. Albedo, I'm going to put him in B. He has, 1 mono geo. He provides 125 elemental mastery. He is a sort of good character. Like, I'm not saying he's like amazing. Like, up here is where it's like, yeah, you're using him on a lot of teams. Here is like you're using him on a couple teams, and here it's like, let me find Hu Tao. Yeah. Okay, here. This is where the main DPS is most likely end up. Okay, this is where the main DPS is most likely end up, because main DPS value. There are so many main DPS characters in the game, whereas there are like support characters that are used on multiple teams. You're only using the main DPS on like the couple teams that they work on, right? So Klee, Keqing. Yeah, we're just gonna get all the main DPSs out of the way. Itto, nah, we're not gonna give him that. Ganyu, I think we can put in A tier. The reason why Ganyu's going in A tier: 20% crowd damage bonus, there's distraction for the E, and then also she's actually able to be used as a main DPS. Main DPS does count for something, right? It does count for something. A character who is an S is a character like Xingqiu, who has every Pyro's character's favorite unit to play as, right? He gives you Hydra resonance, or Hydra res decrease, yeah, just insane. Like, Xingqiu is a really, really valuable character. So yeah. And then we have Barbara. She's going to go in B because healing is more valuable than a main DPS role, just because as the tier list goes on, we will see, we already have, 5 main DPSs selected. Like, that's, yeah. Healing, and, she's able to, be a sort of driver. She technically, if we really want to go into it, she could be a driver, right? Drivers are apparently really good. Yeah, no, I don't think that's, I guess now's a good time to talk about Kuki. She's going in A. Honestly, she's going in S. No, she's going in S because Kuki is so good. She's actually able to do, I don't want to say incredible or decent damage. She's able to do damage on her burst even if you're using her as a Hyper Bloom character. Hyper Bloom, she has a massive Electro AoE that's able to be moved around. So if you're slightly out of the range, then you get it closer to the Dendro core, and then she just Hyper Blooms it. Like, she is god tier for Hyper Bloom, and she heals. She is amazing. Venti, he's gonna go in A because of crowd control. When he's able to crowd control, he's a god. When he's able to shred defenses with Viridescent, he's a god. Ningguang, she quite literally has no value. She's never played. She's a main DPS Dendro character that at best gives you 15% Dendro damage bonus. Just really not good. Goro, yeah, I'm going to talk about Goro since we were on the Geo. I'm going to put Goro at S. He may be niche, but wow, he doubles Itto's damage, and if that's not valuable S tier, I don't know what is. He literally doubles Itto's damage. I do not care. He doubles Itto's damage. Do not at me. Ayato, he's going to go in B because he gets an extra 20% normal attack damage bonus on his burst, and he also is able to apply Hydro. Pretty good. That's about all I can really say. He could go up to A. He could. I think he possibly could go up to A, but he's missing, like the taunt, right? That, Ganyu has. If he had the taunt that Ganyu did, then he would be A tier, but he doesn't have the taunt like Ganyu, so he's just B tier. Yelan, she's going to go in A tier because she's doing the exact same job as a 4-star, but worse on most times. And yeah, she may be used with Xingqiu a lot, but it doesn't change her value. Her value is just literally not worth. This is not a should you summon. It kind of is. Because most of this should you summon characters that you just go absolutely yes on. Yeah, but maybe not. Hold on, we'll see. But, these are the characters that you want to build, right? Like, aside from, just disregard that the C tier exists and look at, like, S tier. And these are most likely characters that you want to build. Then you look at A tier and it's like, okay, these characters are also good. Because if you invest in Ganyu and you don't use her as the main DPS, then oh well, you have a decent cryo support. That's as bad as it gets for Ganyu, right? That's how we're looking at this basically. Beidou, we're going to put her in A tier because she's off-field Electro Appliance, and then she's also, just a off-field DPS, right? So off-field DPSs are always like a very high value, right? Because off-field DPS is able to actually do damage. I could see you putting Ayato up here, but like I don't think Ayato does that much damage on his burst, whereas Beidou, she's doing a lot of stuff, and it's every single time you attack, and it's not just a big AoE thing. So yeah, let's do Mona. I think Mona at A tier or S tier could possibly be it. We'll put Mona at S because she has the taunt, she has the massive burst, right? I think S on Mona is pretty good, and she's also useful for the Ito team. Wish I had her. And yeah, so now we're gonna look at Amber. She's not at the bottom tier because she has a taunt, and her arrows can, I think slightly go off. Like most of the duration is while she's on field doing her little animation. But I think for B, I think she's able to, at least do some damage off field, right? I'm gonna put her in S because Ayaka is able to do a burst that does a lot of off-field damage. We're talking like 500,000 off-field damage. That is what Ayaka's burst does. Okay, I don't want to listen to these people who say no, she sucks. No, Ayaka is going to stay in S because she does massive off-field damage. She also helps Diluc melt, which helps him out a lot, even though she does like half the damage, right? Aloy, she's gonna go in C tier because well, yeah. I mean, honestly, we could make a whole tier for like Aloy and Ningguang, honestly. Because at least these guys are really good at what they do, right? Well, really good is kind of these two. But, at least these two are decent, or like really good at what they do, right? And then we have Klee and, Keqing. Bennett, I think we can just all put him in S. We're going to put the obvious ones in S, right? Bennett, Kazuha, Nahida. Yeah, those three, I don't think I have to explain why. She's going to give you like 250 elemental mastery. Kazuha is going to give you a lot of elemental damage bonus. And then Bennett's giving you an insane amount of attack. Speaking of insane amount of attack, we're also going to put Kujisara up here because she can give you 60% crit damage. And speaking of 60% crit damage for electric characters, we also have Raiden, who is B tier. The reason why Raiden's B tier, her E skill that buffs burst damage does not exactly buff it that much. It's not an insane huge mega buff like Bennett or something, right? So it's not an insane buff, but it is a buff. And then she's also able to recover energy. So if you're using on our Eula team, but the problem is using her on a Eula team to recover energy really just never goes well, right? She's also able to make particles with her E skill, able to trigger superconduct, able to trigger hyper bloom. She's able to do a lot of stuff off field with her E skill, and her Q skill is able to regen energy, which on National, if you're using her as the main DPS, it helps out a lot. So yeah, Raiden probably gonna stay in B tier. Dori, she's also gonna be in B tier. Honestly, she recovers energy. That's about all I can say about her. That's her entire kit, which is the dumbest thing, because if she recovers energy and she provides nothing more, then she's gonna just be the worst Raiden. Like, my Raiden, now that she's C3, I'm never using Dori again. All the resources that I put into Dori is just gone. Diona, we're going to put her in S. She's got a shield. She heals. She never... Basically, when she's on the team, you're probably not going to die. That's basically what we're looking at. Fischl. I mean, her C6 is just insane for off-field damage. You also have, Electro Appliance, which is really good for her. She's basically a main on every single... Like, if it's not Kuki, it's Fischl. Like, that's how it is now. If it's not Kuki, it's Fischl for Dendro teams. That's basically how this game goes now. We'll put him in B, because, he can infuse your characters with Cryo. Maybe a character like Shenhe or something. Like, if we ever get a Cryo character that has a huge Cryo burst and doesn't really do Cryo damage on his normals, we can, use Chongyun to infuse his normals with Cryo damage bonus. I think he gets Cryo damage bonus. I'm not sure. I haven't read Chongyun's kit. I just know that he converts your damage to Cryo, which is pretty bad. Now, Yanfei. She's C. She provides literally nothing. Nothing. Kaya. We're going to put Kaya in A. Kaya, he provides melts, basically, which is what Diluc... He was like Diluc's best friend, I think, at the beginning, and then Ayaka got released, and now it's just like you use Ayaka instead of Kaya, because there's no reason to use Kaya after you get Ayaka, because Ayaka's burst just does so much damage, it really doesn't matter. So, Kaya, he's going to sit here. He's able to apply Cryo, sort of. You have to be really close to the enemy, so you can't be like Yoimiya, right? So, yeah, that's about all I can say, and then we're going to put Qiqi at B. B, because, well, she's just a healer. That's it. She's exactly like Barbara. Jean, we're going to put her at A because of the Res Shred and the massive, animo reactions that she's able to do. She destroys shields. She is very, very valuable. I'm not... you could talk about constellations, but I don't know. We're talking about C0 5 stars and C6 4 stars, right? So I don't really want to say that, Jean's constellations are good, even though she's a standard banner. And at this point, if you've played for a while, you probably have 1 or 2 constellations in a Jean, which is, I think her C2 is pretty good. I think it's the normal attack damage bonus is the one that I'm looking at. Her shield uptime is not the best if you're not, transformed with her, but at the same time, you can just use her as a main DPS. She heals at some level. I think it's a constellation, so but that's only when she's on the field, I think. Overall, her shield is not exactly usable unless you use Sack Sword. Not good. Lisa, we're gonna put her in A because Lisa's basically just gonna be an A because she's Electro. She's able to apply Electro off field and she's able to do some off field damage, right? I don't want to talk about Lisa too much because I don't know that much of her kit, but she's basically there, and I know she's actually valuable nowadays. So she's A. Razor, yeah, just straight up C. You provide nothing anymore. Rosaria. Yeah, we'll do that. Maybe. I'm going to put Rosaria in S. We get crit rate and a lot of physical resistances, which on the one team that she's used on, I mean, I don't think it's a lot of physical resistances, but it's some physical res shred. The team that you use her on, you're just shredding the resistance so much. It's like, it's get halves, right? It halves, right? Yeah. Sayu, she heals. That's what I'm going to leave it at. She heals. I think she could do some off-field damage, but it's not really that good. Sucrose. Yeah, we'll do that. Because look, if you're using Sucrose and you're using like Hu Tao or something and getting massive, EM buffs, Sucrose is going to be good. Yoimiya. All right, look, I'm not even gonna play with the idea that her burst, you use her burst. Yeah, look, I'm not. She can give attack percent to, her party members. It really ain't worth it. Shenhe can go up there. Shenhe just is such a massive attack buffer, like a massive buffer specifically for Cryo. It would basically be like me excluding Goro out of S tier. Just, I have to keep it consistent, right? Tartaglia, C. I mean, like, what do you want? Like, he can apply Hydro, but, I mean, Kachin can apply Electro. Hu Tao can apply Pyro. I'm not counting that. Kokomi. She heals and applies AoE Hydro. I don't know. Because AoE Hydro is very useful for Dendro nowadays. But if you just use Ayato instead, you can have basically, because Kokomi's really used, while she's an AoE Hydro character, you can use a character like Ayato instead and do more damage, right? You kick Kokomi off the team, put Yao Yao on now, because Yao Yao you'll take just a little bit. You don't have to be near the Dendro cores with Ayato, by the way. The Dendro cores get near the enemy, but Ayato has a long range, so he's not like near the Dendro cores, right? I want to knock her down now that we have a Dendro healer, right? I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to knock her down now that we have a Dendro healer. Before we got Yao Yao, she would have been an S, but now that we have a Dendro healer, she's not as valuable anymore for Bloom teams. So, yeah. Speaking of Yao Yao, we're going to put her in B because, well, she's a Dendro healer, and, well, that's good for Bloom teams. I could put her in A also. She does apply Dendro, but it's single target, right? I'm not going to put her there. AoE Hydro wins over a single target Dendro. I don't even think that's a question. Xinyan, she gives an attack buff with Constellations. She can, depending on what set you're running her on. She could be an S, but I'm going to bring her down because there's not enough characters in the game that are taking her not her ICD, but taking her Pyronado that applies Pyro and making real good use of it like other characters are for Xingqiu. And she's just an off-field DPS, right? She's basically like Beidou, but like less restrictive. So I think she's very valuable in that aspect. But if there was a Hydro character or a Cryo character that was really able to take Xiangling's, thing, other than Ganyu. Like Ganyu, her melt is good, but she just, I don't know. It's not like Hu Tao. It's not like Hu Tao, who is like bound to Xingqiu, okay? Like, it's not like Hu Tao. Nobody is bound to Xiangling. Xiangling is just so good that she's used on most teams. Or not most teams, but you get the idea. I'm going to put Thoma in A. 1, he has a shield. 2, he's the only character right now. Honestly, go put him in S. He's the only character right now that is even decent for Burn Xian. He is literally the only character. So he's going in S, because if you want to run Burn Xian, you have to run Thoma, basically. It is not even a question. Even though his shield is pretty weak, I will stand by that. Yeah, sure. Maximum, thing. Sure, you can get, Thoma's shield to be super strong. But I don't know. That's not good, right? That's like for a split second. Like, it's not even a split second. It's such a short amount of time. And you have to keep his shield up. It's just not worth it. Xinyan, she's going to go right in C. I guess B. She's a shield character, right? She'll go in B. Her shield, from what I remember, like, it's just not worth running her shield at all, from what I can remember. She's just never useful beyond her shield, which is, yeah. Zhongli, I mean, it's the I want to live button. I think that's just basically where we leave it at. He also... Basically, Xiao, if you put him with Zhongli, you don't have to use Xiao with Zhongli, but it helps him out a lot because Xiao can get caught very easily when he's coming down and he takes a hit. Xiao is a twig. I don't care. Like, people argue with me over this. Xiao is a twig without Zhongli's shield, okay? I do not care. He will get destroyed. All right, now, Yeimiko. Yeimiko is an all-field damage dealer, and she does a massive burst DPS. Burst DPS is really good, and she's just not as good as Ayaka on it, right? So we put Yeimiko in A because, well, that's where she goes. Yeah, I think she just... And it's also Electro, it's not Cryo. It's a pretty big difference. Yunjin. I think we're going to put Yunjin in A just because she's not really like a god tier character, right? She's not really like oh my god, that's like a Bennett or something. No, she's really not. Okay, so now here we are with the new tier list. So here we have Heizo. Heizo is alright. He really just doesn't do much. Kole. She can apply Dendro off field, but that's about it. Like, it's not even that good. Like, she's really just, sorry, man. It's not happening. Dendro MC. I think we're going to put both of them in A. We're specifically talking about Dendro because honestly, there's no competition, right? Put them in A. because applying Dendro off-field actually is, good with these characters, right? And they also create some pretty good Dendro particles if you use Sacrificial Sword on them, too. Tignari, gonna go and see. Does literally nothing, from what I remember. Just nothing at all. Candace. Candace can give you some decent normal attack damage bonus. It's sort of like Yunjin, but, like, worse, right? And then she applies Hydro every single time you switch a character. Really, just, if she was able to apply Hydro consistently, she would be like Yoimiya's best partner. Specifically because she buffs normal attack damage bonus, and I think she skips charge attack damage bonus. If that was the case, then Yoimiya could have had a resurgence where you use her, Yelan, and like assuming that she has better ICD and all the Hydro appliance than Xingqiu. You take Xingqiu out, or maybe you keep him in, but I think you would take Xingqiu out. You would use Candace, Yelan, and you would have Bennett in the back, buffing Yoimiya. So I think you're really missing So I think if she was able to apply Hydro really well, she would be like a god tier support for Yoimiya. Sadly, she's not. Sinnoh, again, it's just a main DPS. Nilou, what she does for Bloom teams is just so good. Because all you would do is just use her E skill, right? Use all of her strikes on her E skill, which I think takes a long time. It's too long, honestly. But you would use all of her strikes on her E skill, and then, maybe this is the case with Alhaitham's team. I haven't really checked how Alhaitham works with Nilou. But you would use, Nilou, Kokomi, and then Alhaitham, and I guess maybe Yao Yao, and maybe Xingqiu instead of Kokomi, right? You would do that, and that would be your team, right? For Nilou, you wouldn't use her as the main DPS, or I say main DPS, sort of. But yeah, I think just having Nilou on your team, if it's just double Hydro, double Dendro, or just Hydro and Dendro, I guess, yeah, it would be a lot better for, it's going to be a lot better once we get a main DPS that works with, Nilou. But as of right now, the only main DPS that I think works is Ayato. So we need a really, really good main DPS that can work without supports, because Ayato, he does need a bit of support. Layla, she has a shield, and she sort of applies cryo, but that's about it. It's just worse. Do I think that Kaya's applying cryo is worth having her worse? Yeah, I think it is. Kaya's applying cryo way better, as long as you're able to get close to the enemy. So maybe I should put Layla up here. Her shield isn't even, insanely busted. Yeah, we're just going to put her up here. Yeah, I think that's about all I can do. Farazan, I mean, once again, I can't be hypocritical. If I put Goro up here, I have to put Farazan, Shinha, Kujasara, all these characters up here, because it's just the exact same story. The Wanderer, just a main DPS. Alhaitham, just a main DPS. Zhao, just a main DPS. Eula, just a main DPS. Diluc, just a main DPS. Right, so that's basically where we see all of our stuff. So here is the tier list in terms of how valuable a character is. I'm thinking most of this is probably correct, just, based on their unique abilities. Obviously, practicality-wise, Amber is not going to be better than all of these characters, but she provides more than all of these characters, right? If Amber's scaling was really, really good, then she probably could be used quite a bit better, right? She probably could be used, and her burst was better. She would be very, very useful, right? So yeah, that's all I can think of for this video. I'm not seeing anything too crazy and wrong about this. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.